Welcome back. In the previous video, we learned functions like replace, split, strip, etc. that help us modify strings. Today, we'll continue with more useful string functions. We'll learn how to divide a string into parts, join multiple strings together, and check different properties of a string. These functions are used frequently in Python programming. So let's get started. The first function is partition. The partition function divides a string into three parts based on the first occurrence of the specified separator. In our case, this is hyphen. The first part contains the text before the separator. The second part contains the separator itself, and the third part contains the text after the separator. The result is returned as a tuple, which is represented using parentheses. Let's take another example. Only the first comma is used for partitioning. The remaining text stays together in the third part. Now let's see a similar function that starts searching from the right side of the string. rpartition. rpartition works just like partition, but it searches for the separator from the right side of the string. It also returns a tuple containing three elements. Let's move to another example. Since it starts searching from the right, the last hyphen is selected. Sometimes, instead of dividing a string into smaller parts, we want to combine multiple strings into a single string. For that, Python provides the join function. Join combines multiple strings into one string. The string written before join acts as the separator between the elements. Let's change it a bit. Since the separator is a comma, commas are inserted between all the elements. Let's use a hyphen. Now hyphen is inserted between every element. Let's take an empty string separator. An empty string means no separator is added, so all the characters are joined together. Now that we have learned how to partition and join strings, let's move on to a new category of functions. These functions check different properties of a string and returns either true or false. The next function is isalpha. Isalpha checks whether all the characters in a string are alphabets. If every character is a letter, it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. Let's move to another example. Since the string contains numbers, the result is false. Now let's check whether a string contains only digits using isdigit function. Isdigit checks whether every character in the string is a digit. Let's move to another example. The letter A is not a digit, so the function returns false. Python also provides two similar functions, isdecimal and isnumeric. Let's understand them. First is isdecimal. Isdecimal checks whether the string contains only decimal digits from 0 to 9. Let's take another example. The decimal point is not considered a decimal digit, so the result is false. Isnumeric. Isnumeric checks whether all the characters represent numeric values. Let's move to another example. Since letters are present, the result becomes false. Now let's check whether a string contains both letters and numbers. Isalnum checks whether the string contains only alphabets and numbers. Let's move to another example. Because the string contains a space, the result is false. The next two functions check the letter case. First is islower. Islower returns true if all alphabetic characters are lowercase. Let's take another example. The first character B is not in the lowercase, so it returned false. Next function is isupper. Isupper returns true if every alphabetic character is uppercase. Let's take another example. False. Let's check whether every word starts with a capital letter. Istitle returns true if the first letter of every word is uppercase and the remaining letters are lowercase. Let's move to another example. Since P in Python is in lowercase, so false. Now let's see how to check whether a string contains only spaces using isspace. Isspace returns true if the string contains only white spaces characters like spaces or tabs. Let's change our string to hello. Since the string contains letters, the result is false. Python variable names must follow certain rules. The next function helps us check that. Isidentifier. Isidentifier checks whether a string is a valid Python identifier. Valid identifiers can contain letters, digits, and underscores, but they cannot start with a digit. Let's change the string to 123 name. Since the identifier starts with a digit, it is not valid. Our final function checks whether a string contains only printable characters. Isprintable returns true if every character in the string can be printed. Let's change our string. The new line character is a non-printable character, so the function returns false. Excellent. In this video, we learned how to use partition, rpartition, join, and several useful string checking functions. These functions are extremely useful when validating user input and working with text in Python applications. In the next video, which will be the final part of our Python strings series, we'll learn the remaining advanced string functions. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.